Zombies. Zombies have invaded our culture in almost every way. Of course there are zombie films and TV shows, and there's zombie merchandise, zombie novels, zombie walks, and in university, at the time of creating this video, I am currently enrolled in a university class based around zombies. In fact, this video is my final project for said class. In this class, we studied how zombies are scary, why zombies are so popular, where they come from, and a great deal of many other things. The only thing we didn't look into, at least not as in-depth as the other aspects of the zombie, is a magical zombie, or zombies in fantasy. All the academic writings we read had a very scientific approach, which isn't bad, but as a big D&D and fantasy nerd, I was always thinking, where are my magical zombies at? After all, my favorite type of zombie is the magical zombie that is created by necromancy. So I thought, if no one else is going to talk about magical zombies, then I might as well do it myself. First of all, what is a zombie? To be a zombie, there are three basic criteria. 1, you have to be dead. 2, you have to have no coherent thought. And 3, you have to eat people. In fantasy, zombies are very prevalent. There's a whole school of magic and wizardry dedicated to bringing dead things back to life, called necromancy. And unlike zombies in modern times, which are created by a virus or radiation or whatever, necromancy zombies are created by literally casting a spell or ritual that raises an army of the dead. Necromancy in literature and fantasy is usually thought of as the evil magic. The necromancer is usually described as a dark sorcerer who lost his way and turned to the dark side or some shit. There's a very small amount of heroes in fantasy literature that can actually raise the dead. I mean, think about it. If you're like some village peasant in the olden times and you have a kid or whatever and you're being attacked by bandits and raiders, and then some white knight in shining armor shows up and he's all like, "I'll save you, citizen," you're like, "Oh man, that's awesome." But then he starts like summoning legions of rotting corpses that proceed to eat the bandits and like rip them apart. This guy ain't no hero anymore. He's not your hero. He's fucking bonkers. And you're like, "Oh god, this guy just resurrected zombies," and you fucking book it because that dude has a posse of cannibalistic corpses. So where does this stem from? The short answer is Jesus. Long answer? Well, first we're gonna have to look into where zombies came from. I'm only gonna go over this quickly because if I go in depth of where zombies came from, I'll be here all day and I can do a whole video on that on its own. But long story short, zombies originate from Haiti, and Haiti's national religion is voodoo. Haitian voodoo is a little different from African voodoo. Haitian voodoo is like a mixture of Western African religions and Christianity. You see, the Haitians believed that when Jesus was crucified and put in the cave was guarded by Haitian guards. Then God came down and was like, "Hey, what's up guys, I want to resurrect my son." And they were all like, "What's the password?" And he gave them this password, and they were like, "Cool, this guy checks out." And then God proceeded to resurrect Jesus. The Haitian guards watched the ritual God used to resurrect Jesus, and then later sold this information to a bunch of witch doctors. I wonder who else betrayed Jesus' trust for money. Oh wait, it was Judas! So these guys basically condemned themselves to hell for being dicks to God, more or less. In Haitian voodoo, creating a zombie is thought of as the devil's work, and witch doctors who specify in making zombies are thought to be agents of Lucifer, and they know they're going to hell. They know their souls are condemned, but they just don't really care because they're hungry and they want to eat food, and that's their priority right now. So there's your parallel. You have a person who is charged with knowledge, then sells out basically to Satan, and then now has the power to resurrect the dead. In a fantasy setting, religions are usually huge and plentiful, so it seems obvious that at least one of these gods would be super down to claiming dibs on your soul and giving you the powers of the undead. So why don't we talk about fantasy zombies as much? Why are zombies always a product of science, not magic, spiritualism, or religion? After all, it was the legendary Ving Rhames who once said,
"You know Macumba? Voodoo. Granddad was a priest in Trinidad. He used to tell us, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth."
Well, to put it simply, fantasy zombies are not scary. I mean, in Dungeons & Dragons, zombies are like a level 1 monster that you can one-shot without even caring. They're up there with like skellymen and goblins. The horror of a zombie narrative comes from its relatability. That's why there are people who legit have zombie apocalypse plans, despite the fact that a zombie apocalypse will never happen. The idea of a faceless and motionless virus that just creates zombies and causes distrust between humanity is way scarier than some dude who just decided that it'd be cool to sell a soul for the devil to some undead cronies. Not to mention, the virus means the people you used to know are now trying to kill you and you can't stop it. So the viruses are now a horde of the undead, and these people are people that you used to know, and they represent something. They represent the other. In a fantasy zombie, the zombies don't represent the other, they represent one individual person, which makes it less scary. It makes it more of a hero-villain kind of dichotomy, and less of a us versus them thing, which can be scary because of the mass amount of zombies there are. So, I hope you learned something today. I hope you liked the video, and if you'll excuse me, I am going to try to summon a legion of the undead to do my bidding. See you later.